Welcome to Art School Dissections, a podcast made by artists for artists.
We take our pencils
and scalpels
to dissect art education, the industry, and the minds of local artists to help provide resources
and make this whole art thing a little easier.
I'm Maddie Gabhart.
I'm Peyton Hunt, and we are Art School Dissections.
Hey guys.
Hey,
It's Art School Dissection.
Yeah, guess what we're operating on today? You won't guess.
And if you do,
I'm impressed.
You have a special prize. You get all the episodes for free.
Wow.
Whoa.
Wow,
no one
wow.
else gets that.
No.
Well, this is a very, very special, very unique episode for our podcast.
New format.
Yeah, we were invited to do a live episode at the Art for Franklinton event, which was a live auction and community event right next door to our studio.
Yeah, we got to talk to all of the amazing people in the Franklinton community that are really there for creating and uplifting this space, this community, and we got to learn so much about what is happening right now and what the dream is for this creative community. So there is a little bit of background noise because, hey, there were people at this event.
Or a lot of people at this event.
A lot of very cool people.
Yes.
And we got to talk to and interview 5 of those people, 5 of those artists, community members who are really contributing, making a difference here. So super excited to dive in.
Yes. And big Thanks to Blake, Travis, and Liz, members of the Franklinton Art District board.
Yeah, thank you.
Can't say it enough. They found us. They've been huge supporters for us, and we're just like, we want you to be a part of this event, and we couldn't be happier. It was so much fun. So we can't wait to share with you.
Yeah, this is your sign to say yes to things you haven't done before.
Even if it's scary. Because gosh, was it scary.
It was so fun though. And
it was so fun.
You can hear it in all of our conversations.
It's
so
palpable.
Without further ado, we'll jump into the first interview.
See you there.
First person we talked to was Travis. He is the executive director for the Franklinton Art District. He's one of the coordinators for the Art for Franklinton event, and he went from being a comedian to executive director, the really common pipeline. But we got to talk to him about the courage to call yourself an artist and about his journey with that.
There we go.
All right. Well, welcome our first guest at Art for Franklinton, our first live podcast. Would you mind introducing yourself?
Yes, my name is Travis Hoewischer. I'm the executive director for Franklinton Art District.
That's awesome. So how did you get into that job?
So I've been in the nonprofit world now for 6 years, I believe. Almost 7, 6.5 years.
Wow.
Previous to that, I was the editor-in-chief for 614 magazine for many years.
Amazing.
Oh, cool.
Which is kind of how I got connected with this community. I also have been a performing artist for 25 years. I've been doing stand-up comedy.
Oh.
And and so when I left the magazine, I went to work for an arts nonprofit that is now here in Franklinton called WAVE, or We Amplify Voices. And then pandemic wiped out my role there, and then I started working for a social service agency called Gladden Community House here in Franklinton. And then I didn't want to leave Franklinton, but I wanted to get back to the arts, so I was waiting for Franklinton Arts District to look for somebody to lead the organization again, and it worked out that I became the person. So I just started at the end of January.
Wow. Well, congratulations.
Thank you. I also have volunteered for this event before, and I've actually done the auction.
Oh,
As a comedian, they hired me to be the auctioneer, which I had no idea what I was doing. But I did do that for 22 and 23, so
That's cool.
I've been involved and adjacent to the organization and to the neighborhood for many years, so it's super thrilling to get to like help take it to the next level.
Yeah. With all those roles, do you have like a favorite one as of right now? Because you've done a lot.
Yes, I tell people that regardless of my resume, the thing that I'm best at is hype man.
Oh.
You know, like whether it's this organization or this event or other things I've been lucky to be involved in, like if I get excited about something, I love bringing other people along for the ride, you know, bringing other people along to the story. So that's pretty much what fundraising and event planning and nonprofit leadership is. Just in, you know, this neighborhood, you'll hear me say it maybe on the microphone later, but this neighborhood's undergone a lot of changes. A couple years ago, the changes were a little bit scary for some folks, especially for artists, and I feel like right now, myself and Liz Kirkpatrick, as staff for FAB, I feel like the momentum right now in this room and in this neighborhood is palpable.
Yeah,
so
I
exciting.
can feel it. We're so excited to like be part of this community.
We're excited to have you.
Thank you.
What, I guess if you could pick what's one thing that you're super excited about happening in the community.
Well, there's a couple things. Just recently announced they're actually sponsoring this reception tonight. CAPA, so the city's largest, performing arts nonprofit, have announced small details of them going to be moving into the Idea Foundry over here on the other side of the district.
Cool.
Doing small to mid-sized performances, trying to activate that space again. They've done fantastic work, and that adds a little bit of legitimacy that type of organization wants to do more in the Franklinton Arts District.
Yeah.
I say that like a lot of us down here, whether you're inside 400 or you live here or you work here, we're all visitors here. Most of us didn't grow up here.
Yeah.
In fact, the vast majority probably did not. So I want us to be the welcome wagon, right? I want us to be like, as much as we feel ownership over this neighborhood and we want to make sure it's moving in the direction that serves art and the artist, we also don't want to gatekeep so hard that we're not being open to the next 23-year-old that's graduating from CCAD and doesn't know whether they're going to move somewhere else or doesn't know where to land. And like, I want to be a part of the people I don't even know yet or that we haven't even met yet that will be like, oh, I didn't even know this was here.
Yeah.
But I still think there's probably a great deal amount of people that maybe they've come over here to go to land grant, maybe they've gone to a festival, but it's still such an undiscovered area for a lot of people that we know would really, really become a cool part of the community.
Yeah, that's our story. We were looking for a studio space because that was my graduation gift from my parents, was helping get a studio space.
It's a great gift.
I know, right? And we toured a couple places. I think this was our first place. And after touring it and we looked into it a bit more, we didn't know about Franklinton Fridays. We didn't know about anything in this area and stuff going on. So it's been such a fun journey of now we're a part of the community and seeing all these things pop up and we're like, this is big. This is amazing.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm glad we chose this studio.
And the more we have people that feel lucky and fortunate to be a part of it, the more that sense of community and collaboration grows.
Yeah, exactly.
It kind of metastasize, I think that's what tonight feels like. There's tonight we have 53 sponsors for this event.
Wow.
It's more than we've ever had in the past. And 33 of them are brand new.
Wow.
Some of them are brand new to the neighborhood. So
oh my God.
There's people in the room tonight that are also excited about the neighborhood and want to be more involved. And so I'm hoping not just to say this on the mic, but I want those people to connect with somebody who could make their podcast for them. I want them to come in here, and if they don't win the bid on one of these pieces, they fall in love with that artist and their style.
Yeah.
And maybe want them to commission a mural for them. So all of it is just kind of like that connectivity. And you can't really create community
Yeah.
You know, it's this very organic, kind of living, breathing thing.
Absolutely.
And so, you know, everybody feeling positive and feeling like they want to connect to new people. I love to get to be at the center of that.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Could you talk a little bit about this event in particular? Because
Yes.
this is my first time attending it. It's my first time like learning about it. So could you talk a bit about it so people know what's going on?
The 30 pieces that are on auction tonight were all made at Scrawl, or what we called in the past Urban Scrawl. That takes place in the fall. So tonight we'll be raising money for the organization, but also raising money so that we can directly pay the artists that are going to make the next batch of these noble murals in the fall.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So this year's Urban Scrawl, or Scrawl, will be at the 19th.
Okay.
So that event and these murals really does kind of predate the entire arts district. It used to take place over at Dodge Park, and there were people skating in the pool, you know, in the skate park.
Yeah.
Bands, DJs, graffiti artists, like skateboarders. So that was really it's a part of our history for the neighborhood and for the organization. And this is the 10th year for this action.
Wow.
So Art for Franklinton started in 2015, and it started right here at Strongwater. And this is the first time it's come back.
Oh, that's
So
like
yeah,
a circle.
so it's very significant. So again, it's hard to put into words. I'm very thrilled that we're all here tonight.
Yeah, just being here, it's so awesome.
Yeah.
And I'd actually never been in Strongwater, so this is
Here we go.
Yeah, there's a lot of
beautiful.
firsts tonight.
Oh,
with the
yeah.
Yes,
energy.
exactly.
Yeah.
So, did you go to any form of art school for your education?
No.
What kind of school did you go to?
I have a communications degree from Ohio State.
Okay, nice.
So stand-up comedy, journalism, fundraising, all the things that I've been lucky to be good at. I was only trained by my job and my community and mentors and other people that took the interest in showing me the ropes.
Yeah.
So I like to be able to do that now as well.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I have a film studies minor that I accidentally got. 'Cause I just
Accident.
pretty much.
I mean, we'll take it, right?
Yeah. That's as close as I get to an art school degree. But no, I just kind of exist between all these things. And it's part of what I like about the role is that I'm part event planner, part fundraiser, part storyteller, part artist myself.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm lucky to be able to see things from multiple angles.
That's really nice. Did you go into school anticipating some kind of this kind of role in the future, or?
I like to say no, but that couldn't have been entirely true. But I will say this is part of what I love about how we can all now define or expand the definition of being an artist. It took me until 2 years ago to give myself permission to call myself an artist.
Really?
Because in my mind, I realized it was I was carrying on a little bit of a stigma of artists these are real artists are looking around us, they paint, they sculpt, they draw. And I was never really good at those things. And so when I was growing up, it felt like being creative was for art class.
Yeah.
And I wasn't good at those things, so it took me until college to really realize I was a creative person. And then another 20 years to be why would I be going out of my way to not call myself an artist?
Yeah.
I write, I do stand-up, I can play music,
Yeah, you're
an artist.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I think that's the funny part, right? Is that how many people in this room, possibly including yourselves, I'm a creative, or I'm a writer, or I'm an editor, or I'm a podcast producer, and it's no, this is a room full of artists, and people that, for the most part, probably do think like an artist, and it's also a room full of people that value art,
Yes.
which is what keeps this world going on and keeps that value at it.
That's beautiful. Yeah, I love that. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
It has been an honor talking with you. Is there anywhere that people can find you? Would you like to share any of that or any upcoming projects?
Yes. You can follow me on Instagram at Travis614. I think I might have been the first 10 people on Instagram. I could just be it's my name and it's the magazine I work for.
Yeah.
And of course, follow at Franklinton Arts. And save the date for Scrawl, September 20th, 2021.
So exciting. I can't wait. My first Scrawl was last year, and I can't wait to keep coming back.
We can't wait either.
Well, thank you again.
Yeah, thank you so
Thank you guys,
much.
appreciate it.
Yeah, and we'll make sure to include all of those tags in there for you so people can find you. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you so
I'm
much.
trying to send you your
All right, next up we have Jaylen. He's a recent high school graduate. He talks a bit about his time in the Artsway program and how it introduced him to art. He talks about his journey from being a student to now being an instructor for Artsway. Super exciting. And he is one of the live muralists here in Columbus. He was part of Scrawl Fest. He had his piece up in the Art for Franklinton event, and he talks all about his creative process and what it's like to grow in this community.
So to kick us off, tell us who you are. Just give a little bio about yourself.
My name is Jaylen Fultz. I am a Columbus artist. 18 years old. I just graduated
Congrats.
from Horizon Science Academy. And I think is that good?
Yeah, that's
Okay,
beautiful.
okay.
Yeah.
So we heard a little bit about Artsway, is that how you say it? Okay.
Yeah.
We heard a little bit about that and like your experience with it. Could you talk more about that?
Yeah, Artsway is a 2 to 3 week mural camp, and there are high school students that participate in it. This year, I think they're aiming for around 25 students per cohort.
Wow, that's
But
amazing.
it was a thing that introduced me to art and professional art, and helped introduce me to a lot of mentors that I still look up to today. It taught me a lot about the art world. And this year, actually, I'll be an instructor for Artsway.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
From student to teacher really fast.
yeah, it's a full circle moment. So I'm really proud of the program and all the things they do, and I'm happy to see it expand.
Oh, that's super fun. Do you like working with Artsway? Did you have a specific medium that you work with?
Yeah, it's a mural camp, and we do a big mural in the community, and then a smaller one, a mini mural, around each size, like 4x4.
Okay.
And so I like to use acrylic paint, of course, and also oil pastel on a lot of my paintings. And so throughout those years of Artsway, it gave me a lot of room to experiment with those mediums. And yeah, mainly acrylic and oil pastel.
That's fun. Like, do you work in the pastels in like the big scale too, or do you work in small?
A lot smaller. I really like to use like Posca. It's too.
Yeah.
The smaller details and then a different texture from the oil pastel is just dope.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I was gonna say major props if you did oil pastels on the giant
Oh
canvas.
my God.
That is terrifying.
I want to. It's a
Spend
goal.
3 years.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's
I
a
mean,
goal.
it would probably look awesome.
Yeah,
I
think
would
it would
take
too.
forever.
Yeah. I would be willing to do it for real.
Yeah. Well, do you have any upcoming projects that you're working on currently?
Well, I just got some materials to start something. I'm not going to art school, so I kind of am like more self-driven, I guess. So I kind of just got the materials, so I have to do something with it. I'll be painting at the Columbus Art Fest the next weekend.
Congrats.
And then I want to do some things with like the Maroon Arts Group, which is another group in town. So yeah, stuff like that. A lot of live painting is like, I really like to live paint. So yeah.
That's something I've wanted to try, but I don't like people watching me
Yeah.
create. Like,
No,
was that ever a
facts.
problem for you?
Watching,
or-
it's never really so much people watching, it's like the mistakes.
Yeah.
It's like when you make a mistake and you're like trying to fix it in front of people. I mean, but usually they can't tell that you're making a mistake. They kind of just vibe it along with you. So I'm thankful that like when I first started doing live painting, it was on a smaller scale things, and I had eyes but not as many. It allowed me to experiment and kind of like learn my groove with live painting.
Yeah.
And I actually do like it way more than like I ever give props to it. Like, it was like big opportunities to me. It felt like a few years ago. So now I really like doing it.
That's really cool. I feel like that's such a scary one to tap into.
Yeah, I love it. And it also impacts your style as well. Like, I'm a little faster because of the live stuff.
Yeah, I have to be concise.
And then, I don't know. I just really like it, to be honest. And I like something like Scrawl. Introduces you to the community. Liz said it's like a holiday to them. So stuff like that as well, like getting good at live painting so you can show off, what you have.
Yeah. Are you gonna do Scroll again this year?
Yeah.
I'm gonna do scroll art as long as I can.
Oh,
It's
that's
really
awesome.
fun. I met a lot of artists, and it was like one of the biggest things to live paint at. So I like it.
Yeah. That's really fun. So you said you aren't going to go to art school.
No.
What was your decision making for that?
It was really so much like I wanted to see if how I stood with the art world, to be honest. And I didn't really just want to go to art school and be like there, like just there. You know, I kind of wanted to do some things on my own and like prove that I could do stuff on my own, because I went to a science school for high school, not at art school.
Huh.
So like, and then I was able to find little recognition as an artist there, and so like trying to kind of keep that up, go at my own pace, and get my own recognition, I think is really cool.
Yeah.
At least for these, this little time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Has your high school education being primarily science, has that impacted your art in any way, or is
I wouldn't say it impacted my art. It made me, I wouldn't say so much about the curriculum, how it affected me, but the people at the school,
Oh, okay.
how they interpreted art. It was kind of like, it felt really like a lot of rejection at first. And so that would make me kind of want to perform into something else, but I got over that, obviously, and
That's
they
hard,
recognize
so
me for what I'm doing now,
Yeah.
or what I always wanted to do. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't say the curriculum affected me, but more so the people. And
You mentioned some mentors. Can you give us any names?
Eris, for sure, Eris Cohen, Hakeem, Sarah Houts, for sure, Sugar Ray, for sure, Marshall Schwartz. Wait, I don't want to say too many names, but like
You got the connections. You're
they helped me out a lot. Artsway was the program that like hooked me up with a lot of these people, or like gave me opportunity to talk to them in the first place. So yeah, all those people that I named have like helped me get or recommended me things to do and things like that. So they saw some of my potential and things like that. That's why I encourage Artsway, like people do Artsway.
Yeah.
Because it puts you in front of a lot of good mentors. So.
Oh yeah, sounds like it.
Yeah.
Do you have any like key takeaways that you could bestow upon our audience from your mentors?
Like from what they said, one thing that Hakeem said to me is the art starts when you walk in the room. And that always stuck to me.
That's beautiful. Ooh.
Yeah. Hakeem has knowledge. So.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
Do you have like any dream galleries you'd like to be in, or like any future jobs or anything like that? Like, do you have a goal for the future, or is it like we're just
I
doing
have
it?
goals. It's just like I just want to do things kind of because for example, I see what's going on in the art world right now, at least in the city.
Yeah.
And like I also see what's going on in the fashion space. And so like not to say they're competing or anything, but I see what they're both doing, and like I just want to basically perform at a really high level as far as art. And as far as galleries, like all of that stuff, I want to be able to impact that, put my hands on it, and get my hands dirty with that stuff.
Yeah.
And so it's really just doing as much as I can, to be honest, and doing it like the best that I can, because I know that can be done.
Yeah.
And sometimes I feel like I don't see people doing their best as far as galleries or whatever. So that's what I feel like what I want to bring to the table is doing my best.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful. I love that. I feel like, from what we've heard, you've already made such a great impact in the community.
I'm trying.
Like, you're doing it.
Yeah.
I guess you have a typical process for how you approach a project.
So you said what's my process?
For a project.
That's honestly a good question. I would say like as far as my live paintings, how I approach them, because those are my favorite things to do.
Yeah.
I of course sketch it, find out what colors I want, but what I really do is like I practice the painting before I go out there and paint, so I can like understand the obstacles, like how to navigate the painting properly. So I think that's like the biggest part of one of my processes. I take a lot of notes on my paintings. Like I think your iPad is probably the best like, resource. You know, Procreate is really good for sketching like, those ideas out, and being able to like write little notes. So yeah, like practicing and trying to perfect it before you go out there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
Do you do any like? Do you do like the projection of your sketch onto it, or you just go in?
No, I just go in. I just
That's
like
awesome.
freestyle.
That's really cool.
Yeah, one of my mentors, he was like, kind of hype me up. Like, Jaylen just uses whatever shape. Nah, but there's also a risk when it comes to that because, like, it's cool to be adaptable, but also, like, it feels really good when you are able to, like, produce what you have in your mind. You know?
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
It's so satisfying.
But also, like, being able to adapt. Sorry, what was the question? I just
No, you're
Oh, okay,
great
okay.
information.
Yeah, so basically I'm a freestyler, and I don't really like the projection and stuff. I don't really grid line, I don't like do doodle, I just go. The painting usually turns out way better than the sketch. So like,
I think it's because practice.
And the intent. Like the intent behind the painting is way deeper than the intent behind the sketch.
Ooh.
So
I love that.
Yeah, that's.
You're a very courageous artist. That's such a scary route to go. You're doing the live paintings. You're just going in with it. Like that's so admirable.
Yeah, I mean it's fun. To be honest, I like it.
Does it feel like a performance?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like it.
I like it. Yeah. In a good
Because
way.
it feels like I get inspired a lot by like music and stuff, and like how their artists are over there, like their concerts and stuff. Like it's basically my little mini concert, to be honest. Like my painting. So, I take it serious the same way, you know. It's fun.
That's really cool. Well, it's been awesome to meet
Yeah,
you,
thank you.
and congratulations on everything. Is there anywhere that our followers can find you? Would you like to tag yourself?
Yeah, just Jaylen Fultz on Instagram. And that's it. Really.
Sweet. Yeah,
thank you.
we'll tag you in wherever we're posting this, so people can find your work.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It was nice to meet you.
You
Nice
too.
to meet
Have a
you.
good night.
Next, we have Jennifer, who is a painter with synesthesia. If you don't know what that is, she explains it very well. So hold on, just 2 shakes of a lamb's tail, whatever that phrase is. She describes what it's like working in a studio. And with Jennifer, we talked about how art can be and sometimes needs to be work and what that balance is like.
Well, why don't we start off? Could you give us a quick bio? Tell us a bit about who you are.
My name is Jennifer Morley. My artistic handle is Audio Acrylics. That's where you can find me on social media. It was the most clever domain name that was for sale 10 years ago when I started doing this, and buying a website was important. And the reason I'm called Audio Acrylics is my creative inspiration is my synesthesia. So it's like a neurological quirk where my senses are kind of tangled up. So for example, when I listen to music, I experience the sound also as color, and the sound has shape and texture and movement in space. So the one sensory input, interacts with the other ones. And when I learned that my brain was like this, and really more when I learned that not everyone else's was doing the same thing, because that was normal to me.
Right.
To describe it, I like pulled out paint and started illustrating like a specific song to like show off, this is what this particular song looks like to me.
Yeah.
And my friends started being like, "Ooh, can I keep this one?" And then started getting requests, and then I was like, "Oh, I should keep doing this." So audio acrylics, acrylic paint, my favorite medium. But like I said, I've been painting for a little over 10 years now, and I have been a member of the Franklinton art community for those 10 years too.
Amazing.
Yeah, we heard that you had a studio space in Cromage.
Yes.
Which is, for anyone that doesn't know, it's the neighboring building to 400. Could you kind of share the pros and cons of having a studio space?
Yeah. I loved being at Chromage. I snuck in there when the wing of Chromage was like brand new. So I was like the first tenant of number 10, which was pretty fun.
That's your
It was very
all
fun.
the paint on the floor.
Oh yeah, everything in there is my fault for sure. And then I actually like played musical chairs a little bit. I was in 400 for a little bit, and then I got to jump back there too because number 10 opened up again, and so I was like, oh okay, I guess I'll go back for a little bit.
Yeah.
But I loved having my space there. What I really like about having private studio space is that it helps me reset my brain and like jumpstart the creative process. Having to physically go into a new place. People talk about this all the time, especially with the pandemic. Like you have to work in a different place than you lounge, kind of thing like that. And so having that space, and not just when I had the studio by myself, even when I was sharing it with other artists, and I had like a group that I just had a corner that was my desk. Just having that private space to jumpstart my creative brain was extremely nice. And then I will say it forever, I loved doing Franklinton Fridays. It was so much fun, and you get to interact with the community in a way that's not like a museum. It's not like the big arts festival. You're in the thick of things, and I had so many people that were like just really excited to see like where I stored my tubes of paint, or like touch a canvas because they never touched one before, that kind of thing, and it gets art into people's hands, and it was so fun to be able to do that and participate in that. So, I can't say enough good things about it.
Yeah, I love that. People love to see the process. Like, being able to walk into somebody's studio is such a special thing, and it's so cool. Like, even me just walking around other people's studios, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
It feels really nice, and then it also like being invited into someone else's creative space feels almost like a sacred exchange. It really truly is someone else sharing their internal worldview and their internal mind and making themselves vulnerable. But at the same time, it doesn't feel like vulnerability because everyone is all excited to be there. Everyone is all enjoying themselves and having a good time and stuff like that. So it doesn't feel like a very risky vulnerability. It feels like a vulnerability exchange, which is really nice.
Yeah, that's a great way of putting that. I really like that.
Yeah, there's like a safety net. There's a balance.
Yeah,
for sure.
I love that.
Yeah, and I think it's a great way for artists to get experience, like talking to a whole bunch of different people, because Franklinton Fridays is like, it's never the same group of people twice.
Very true.
So
very, very true. It was always like, it had like one or two like regulars, and I'm doing air quotes because it was like maybe every third time I'd be like, somebody would come up and be like, oh, how are you doing with this piece? And I would feel bad because I wouldn't remember. It had been in 3 months ago, or something like that. It's always a new group of people, which once again is so nice.
Yeah, it's a fun little challenge. Because I feel like when we started doing it, we're like, oh my gosh, we must be doing something wrong. Like,
because you're not getting,
things aren't selling, or the setup's maybe not working, or people aren't walking in. So we'd like move stuff around. Yeah. And then the next time, some people would walk in and other people wouldn't. And we're like, oh, we're doing something wrong. But you're not. It's always different people.
Yeah.
So
the other thing too is that it is a extremely safe place to learn that kind of stuff.
Oh my God,
so
yeah.
if you want, you can set up your studio like a private creative space that you've invited someone into, or you can set up your studio 100% like a retail establishment, and that can be your entire setup. And you can have, I know some people would have like a curtain in the back and just like a stacked chair, like everything all back there. Versus some people who they have like one little chair, one little lounge area way up at the front, and then it's just a mess of creation. Like that was me.
You're kind of us.
Yeah.
Split space.
So, and you can experiment, you can move stuff around, you can try things out, and you can test things out. But at the same time, Columbus being the great test market that it is, you're right. It's a different group of people every time. So.
Yeah. Did you attend art school for education?
No, actually, I did the Saturday morning art classes at CCAD when I was like a kid.
That's where we went to school.
Okay, see, there we go. So I did those as a kid, and I had a lot of fun. But when I graduated high school, I went off and did Columbus State, and I actually went to beauty school. So I was like a practicing makeup artist. I was in the beauty industry for 10 years. So I kind of joke that like my art school was like eyeliner, like my brush skills are contour, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that's where I went.
They definitely informed the other.
Yeah, it was like, very extreme. You know, all of my practice on brides like really helped me on campus. So. You know, and then that was my work, and then my paintings and my art was like, you know, my hobby. And then I left the beauty industry over the pandemic, and you know, now I get to do art, you know, more in line with what I've always wanted to do with my artwork, that kind of thing.
That's really fun. Yeah. Do you have a typical process for how you approach a new piece?
How I approach what?
A new piece.
A new piece?
Yeah.
So I do a lot of geometric artwork currently. My musical pieces, sometimes I'll revisit, usually if it's like a request. And you know, somebody's like, this is my wedding song, can you do an illustration of this song? That kind of, yeah, I love those. Those are the ones I love when there's like a story or a meaning behind it. Oh my gosh, love those so much. So that is like conversation with client. But currently, like I said, I've been doing a lot of like geometric work. And so I have like a graph paper sketchbook that I've been carrying around with me a lot. So, and I have a compass. I look like a math student, and I kind of love it. And my sister is a math teacher, so like I pretend like I'm channeling her. And yeah, so my current process right now is just like sketching in my little graph book, and you know, carrying around maybe a couple color markers or something like that, and doodling. But just making sure I have it with me all the time, and I like revisit it every morning to like see if an idea I doodled is something I want to follow through with, or something that I want to expand on, or maybe there's something small in the doodle that I want to expand on, that kind of thing. So I guess my broad answer is just like keeping my sketchbook with me and like rechecking over it every day, just to see after some sleep what I really feel about the idea that I had.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's something I'm trying to get better about is I don't carry a sketchbook with me much anymore. I don't sit and sketch anymore. I feel that's such an important part of like being an artist.
Yeah, but it's hard. It's the work part.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, iterative.
Yeah.
I did spend 3 hours this weekend just drawing hands, and I felt like an artist again.
Right.
I was like, oh my gosh.
It's like, oh, I know how to do this.
Yeah.
I'm practicing. That's
I mean,
crazy.
and that's what you have to do. You have to chase that dopamine that you just got when that was done, and you were like, you know, I saw you tuck your hair behind your ears, and you're like, I feel like a real artist. You have to chase that feeling, and if you remind yourself, the next time you're drawing hands for 3 hours, like, this will feel good at the end of it.
This will be worth it.
Yeah, for sure. That's me with like my ruler, like doing all my measurements and just being like, doing all the math.
Math part, not my favorite, but the straight lines are lovely.
Yeah, it's satisfying.
It's so satisfying.
So just the process sometimes, you know, because we're always chasing the flow state, but we have to acknowledge if we want the result that we want, sometimes the process will not be the flow state. It will be the work. And if you want to get to the results you want, you have to be able to do both. And sometimes I don't want to be honest.
That's the hard reality of it.
And I will say, to circle back, if I'm physically in the studio, it makes me do it more because I'm already there, so I might as well do the work. But if I'm at home on the couch and my cat's right there, I could just sit with the cat.
Exactly.
So, you know.
Exactly. I relate to that heavily.
To pull it back around.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a beautiful place to close it off. Thank you so much for being a part of Art School Dissections.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah. Is there a place where our followers can find you online?
Yes. So like I said, my handle is Audio Acrylics. I am learning how to do TikTok because I am an elder millennial, but I am on Instagram, so you can find me there if you still have Instagram.
Yeah, very fair.
Yeah.
And do you have any upcoming projects that you want to talk about, or?
I'm excited to see everybody at the Arts Festival and cheer everybody on. I'm not at ProMed at the moment, but I am a resident at Blockfort Studios, right by school. Yes, exactly. So I very much miss Franklinton, but I can walk there, so it's really nice and close. So I'm always having some pieces up there, and like my open studios are there, and then I'm actually curating a show called Personal Panacea. The opening, I don't know if when this is going to be out, but the opening for art goes through till mid-June.
Okay, yeah.
But the idea was I wanted people to be able to showcase how we self-medicate and how we self-heal and how we self-soothe in times where that might be really important. You might be practicing that right now, and your artwork itself might actually be how you practice.
Yeah.
I made the prompt really broad. But that show is going to happen at Blockfort on August 1st. So, and the call for art is open until mid-June.
Oh, that's so exciting.
Thank you.
Yeah, congratulations on everything.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you again for talking with us.
Of course.
All right, next up we have Heidi. She's actually one of the other resident artists here at 400. She talks about her time as a full-time artist. She works in a lot of installation pieces. She's a muralist. She does illustration. She does marketing, graphic design, and a really cool medium of 3D tissue art or tissue paper art. Talks all about that. Super exciting. We talk about what it's like to go into art school and focus on a major and then graduate and go into a career that's quite a bit outside of that, and the way that kind of switches your brain as you go from studying this one form of art to then working in a different form. She talks about her time at CCAD, and we also talk about what it's like to be your own boss and going into art full-time and how scary but rewarding of a jump that can be.
Entrepreneur.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, so if you want to start us off with a quick bio, tell us a bit about who you are and what you do.
Yeah, so my name is Heidi. My artist name is Primary Child, and I'm an artist here in Columbus. I've worked here for the last 7 years since being out of school at CCAD. And in this time working for myself, I've become a muralist, an installation artist, and a designer. So I do a lot of different things from murals to illustration to 3D tissue paper installations to different graphic design and marketing projects. So I get to do a lot of fun things, but as an artist as a whole, I try to balance play with art making and having fun with what I do. I want to bring as much color to the world as I can, and I really want to connect communities with meaningful public art.
That's beautiful. I love that.
Yeah.
Could you tell us a little bit about your process with your artwork?
Yeah. So my artwork, a lot of it is kind of a client approach, depending on what client projects I have going on. But on a personal note, when I'm approaching my work and client projects, I really want to connect with clients that we're aligned in our values and the types of projects we're doing. I really like doing more 3D and installation, interactive stuff, both with tissue paper but also with murals. So I try to find clients that align with that and kind of put me on that pathway.
Yeah. Do you have like a favorite medium to work with? Because you're working a lot.
I do work with.
Is there a preference?
Yeah. When it comes to painting murals, I definitely prefer aerosols and spray paint. Even though it's not a brush, it somehow mimics a lot of like your more fine art mediums a lot better than brush painting, and it just goes a lot faster. And I've been able to do a lot more detailed murals that way, and it's much faster. But when it comes to like installations, I've primarily just worked with tissue paper and other little things that has to join it all together. But tissue paper as a whole, it was so unexpected to go into installation work. I never expected to do 3D stuff, but it was a very accessible material to get in bulk. And for the last 4 years now, I've created large scale, typically floral installations.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
That's so fun. That's not a medium that I've heard a lot of people working with.
Yeah. It's kind of out there, but it's like something really common. All your Christmas presents are wrapped in it.
That is so true.
Yeah, but you can get it like big bulk sheets, like a million pieces in them, and you can tape them together, make large pieces of paper basically to work with, or you can put them all up and make really small things. So I've made anywhere from like 3 foot wide flower to like 5-inch wide flowers.
Oh, cute.
So it's like
Super
the
fun.
scale is so fun to play with.
Yeah.
And
I love that. Are you working on anything currently you can share a little bit about?
So this auction was something I was working on, actually, with all the marketing and stuff that went into that. So we're kind of wrapping up all of that work right now, which is nice.
Yay.
But looking into the summer, I have a couple murals coming up. This next week, I get to go install. It's like a mobile mural, kind of like these, at Tanger Outlets up in Delaware.
Wow.
Yeah.
I drive past that.
Yep. It's a little place. I got to work with them a few years ago on a mural. They contacted me about a year ago for another mural opportunity that we're still working on. The process of murals can take 6 months to a year, even longer sometimes.
Wow.
So
Really?
there's a lot of like red tape and things to get approved. So that's just kind of how it goes. But they had another smaller project that they were able to get approved much faster.
It's really cool.
I get to go paint next week.
Fun. Yay.
So every week kind of looks a little different. Some weeks are very computer heavy. Some weeks I'm on painting a wall all week. Sometimes I'm spending hours cutting out a ton of tissue paper. It's so fun.
That sounds like such a nice variety.
Yes.
Yeah.
I went through school thinking I'd be behind like a desk doing corporate graphic design at like Bath and Body Works. And that never panned out for the better.
I was gonna say, it sounds like you kind of won. Yeah. Talking about CCAD a little bit, could you share a bit about your decision-making process into going into art school?
It's so interesting because when I was in high school, I was doing a lot of art classes and I knew I wanted to go into art. But looking at the drawing and painting classes I did, I didn't feel like there was a career necessarily in that. It wasn't just like something I could envision. Although I did clearly at one point in my senior year have this vision of me like painting a wall, so like a mural. But I'm like, like a company is not just going to hire me to do something like this, like a full-time thing. I don't know. So kind of just like stayed there. But looking at schools and CCAD, graphic design and advertising programs looked really strong, especially with the job outputs. And I'm not from Columbus, but I'm from 2 hours north of here, so like Canton, Ohio. So it wasn't too far from home. I was like, this seems like a pretty safe kind of choice to try out something, because I hadn't really done design in high school, but I went through the program. I didn't do any drawing or painting in college really like at all. And then but by the end of college I was anticipating I would go into corporate graphic design, stuck with the program, wasn't super jazzed about it, but was like, a job's a job, you know, we're gonna go with it.
I
like paying bills. But that corporate route never panned out, and then 2 years later, it was 2020 in the pandemic. I found myself technically unemployed from where I'd been working, but it was unemployment into funemployment into self-employment, and I never went back to like a full-time job.
That's awesome.
And it's not been any kind of easy road, like at all, but it like has been so much more rewarding. Like, I haven't painted nearly as many murals as I wanted to, but like I also have painted way more murals than I ever imagined I would. Love it.
So you talked a little bit about how like when you went to art school, your idea was like going into graphic design and Bath and Body Works. How has it felt for you, like seeing that change of like mindset? Like, was there? We kind of talked a little bit about it. And I know, like towards the end of school is when it kind of all falls into place. And you're like, wait a second.
I had never really gotten like the internship I thought I would either in college. I got whatever that made the requirements, but I just hadn't found that like path that really felt good. And then especially coming out of school, also not landing an art job at all, like really made me question a lot, as it will. Doesn't mean that I didn't do the right degree. It just like, for me, like that's what happened after school. I didn't get the job I thought I would. And it just really made me question a lot, but there wasn't a huge decision of like, well, I'm never going to look for a design job again. I still take on design projects now, but I'm never going to say yes to a full-time design position because I know that's not what I want to do. It wouldn't allow me the freedom to do other kinds of projects. And you can get paid more when you leverage your skills that way. You know?
I'm currently going through no longer working at my old job, not sure if I'm going back, want to pursue art, but I don't know.
Don't be afraid, though, to find something full-time that can pay bills. That is something that I have not done at different times in the last 5 years, and if I could tell myself to do that in the past, I would have. Because it is easier when you can pay your bills. And not have that stress on top of like whatever's going on in your life. Like some people get lucky and like their personal life is really easy and like work just kind of works out, but that's not been my story. Like, you know, you just go through different things, and COVID made things so weird. I was just starting out in my career, and I've grown so much since, but it was still a very weird time to start. I had no plan. I was not anticipating on being unemployed in the pandemic. I didn't have savings, but I was like, well, I know I want to do this, so like I'm just gonna try. And I've never stopped trying. And we're still here.
Sometimes it's just like that little push. Like I'm feeling that now with the whole thing with job. I'm like, well, maybe this is the universe telling me it's time to start pursuing art as a full-time thing.
Hell yeah, you can do it. It's possible.
I'm gonna try.
Don't stop investing in yourself and like other resources and people and community. That's investing in community and building a community for yourself is also a hugely important thing.
Oh yeah. And I feel like
school is,
school is that, and now that we're out of school, like Franklinton and being part of this community has, and just being a part of a studio space, like
it's really brought. I've been here for 4.5 years now, and it's really brought a lot of that back to me.
It's lovely. I love it so much. We are to our final question. Knowing what you know, and if you had the chance to go back, would you do art school all over again?
I would make some different choices towards my major for sure. I felt like I really had to stick to the specific kind of curriculum or like class path that they wanted you to take, and that totally makes a lot of sense like when you're in it and in school and looking at all these degree requirements. But I lost so much of myself in what I really wanted to do in these like drawing and painting classes by not taking them in college, where I really could have at times. And so I wish I would have looked at that a little bit differently and just done a little more research of like, I could have minored in something, or I don't know. I would do it differently. I'd be more open and a little less scared.
I agree with that a lot.
Also, in working for yourself, be a little less scared, a little more open. The world is very scary, but like things can happen, like not paying taxes on time, and it's not like someone's gonna like strike you dead for it. Like it feels like that, but like it's not gonna happen.
It'll all be okay. It works out.
Yes, things work out. There's a lot more grace in the real world than there is like in high school and in college. Things aren't always so hard.
And that's a good thing to remember. That's a good. It doesn't always feel like it.
I had like truly like I still worked for the district, but beyond that, I really had like no work coming in the first like 3 or 4 months of this year, and that's like really not great. It was really hard, but I was also going through some things, and I also kind of needed a break anyways. But in April, I just suddenly got like 8 emails across like 2 weeks that were like different projects that people want to do, and not all of them have panned out, but a lot of them are things that are in progress now. So. Things happen.
That's awesome.
That just kind of happens.
I love that. I think that's a great way to cap this section.
Sweet.
Is there anywhere for our followers to find you?
So my artist name is Primary Child. You can find me on Instagram at primarychild_studio. It's a black and white little sun. Oh no, it's not. Oh, whatever. You'll find me.
It's there.
It's the active Instagram.
Some of the works.
But that's me. I'm Primary Child.
Awesome. Well, we'll make sure to tag you so everyone can find you and see your awesome work. And thank you so much for talking with us. It's been awesome.
Great to connect with you guys.
And last but certainly not least, we have Justin, who offered a really interesting perspective on what's going on in the community. He is part of Compton Construction, and he really goes into how the district is growing and what we're doing to like really invest in Franklinton's future. And it was just great to hear the plans that are happening here.
All right, so I'm going to ask you to give a little bio. Tell us a bit about yourself.
Sure, yeah. So my name is Justin Deemer. I work for Compton Construction, who is one of the contractors down here that's going to be working on Walnut Street, where we're doing some redevelopment projects. The new Goodland building is going to be a home in one of the projects that I get to work on.
That's awesome.
Nice. I just started about 3 months ago with them, and specifically I wanted to come and work for Blake, because I know how involved with the art community that he is.
Oh yes, he's awesome.
And just seeing it, it it was really cool. It just made sense. Art, music, and construction, kind of three things that are really right up my alley. So, but what I've noticed, my partner, she's a full-time artist from Chelsea, from Franklinton. Her studio is down here, and I just got involved with the community and met all the people, and like the camaraderie and the want to see other people win, and the help and the support is it's unmatched, honestly.
Oh yeah.
I moved down to Columbus probably about 2 years ago, and they've all just taken me under their wing. I'm not an artist per se, but yeah, it's definitely the community is one of a kind for sure, in Franklinton specifically.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Do you have any highlights of your time being here so far of the community? Like, have you been to any events or?
Yeah, I would say honestly, like last Franklinton Friday. Now that Allie has got the permits to shut down Town Street and just kind of include more vendors, the weather was great. The vibes and the energy was beautiful.
Really nice.
And I've been coming to Franklinton Fridays for the last 2 or 3 years.
Nice.
And that was definitely like, I felt the energy in that one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Which was really cool. It's really exciting to see it grow naturally and organically from within, from people who really care about the community.
Yeah. What is, like, from your point of view, what have those growths been like?
What have those growths been?
Yeah, like what have you seen that's changed or?
I don't know that I've physically maybe seen anything change down here, but just the attitudes of people.
Okay.
It was a little more nonchalant 2 years ago. Not as many people aggressively like going after wanting to make change. Kind of just talking about their issues and talking about the community and what they can do better.
Yeah.
I'd say now there's a lot more action, and like all of that talking is coming into place.
Oh, I love that.
So kind of just like backing up what they say is.
Yeah.
And I know that's another reason I work for Blake is I just feel like he always, no matter what he says, he'll make sure he backs it up.
Oh yeah.
So that's I don't know. You don't find a lot of people like that.
No, yeah. He's got such a great energy. He's the reason we're here tonight.
Really?
So,
Yeah. He connected us.
Say less, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, a guy who wears a tracksuit like that, I wouldn't expect any less, you know?
I know.
No, but honestly, like I've been with these people eating appetizers, drinking aside from not doing events.
Yeah.
Everyday life, you know, I'm working with some of them on projects, and it's just everyday normal people just really trying to help each other navigate this interesting world we're living in right now.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I mean, we've only been a part of the community for a little over a year, and we've seen it just like it's blossoming. Like it's getting really big. Like we didn't even know about Franklinton Fridays before we got our studio next door, and then we were like, oh, this is a thing.
Yeah.
So
And you feel the energy, and it's intoxicating, and you're like, oh, I want to contribute. And I feel like that is kind of the energy you're talking
intoxicating,
about.
inspiring. It's like, oh, I could do something like this.
Everyone wants to do something. It's so.
And they don't just want to do; they also want to help.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a lot of people working together, and that's awesome.
So I think that this podcast is a really good idea. I think spreading the word and letting people know that things like this exist. They have a really cool plan. Like, I guess from my perspective, I've got to see with the investors who are doing all this stuff, what they're doing with Walnut Street and kind of their long-term plan, working with the city and with the EFRB, the East Franklinton Review Board. Everything is purposeful, and like if they're not just like, oh, let's build some buildings and let's make some money. Let's have a place for people to create and be safe and live, and so that's my perspective as a blue-collar guy that's not really an artist and really in the world.
No, that's like
you're in it.
Yeah, you are a part of it.
For sure.
Yeah.
I definitely feel a part of it now.
Well, that's great. We're very happy.
For sure.
Can you talk a little bit more about like the upcoming projects for the area that you might be working on, if you can?
Just if you're allowed.
I don't know what like I said, the Good Land project is probably the only one that I can disclose. I will say there are a few others on the street that are in design and development.
Yeah.
But I don't know that Blake has disclosed to the community
That is fine.
what is going on with those, so I don't want to get myself in trouble at this event.
Yeah, no, please don't. Please don't. That just means people have to come down here and pay attention.
Yeah, so that'll be happening soon. I mean, we're breaking ground on the Good Land project here next week, actually.
Oh, wow.
Fingers crossed.
Congrats.
So we're hoping by late summer to have that one complete.
Oh, wow, that's quick.
It'll be pretty quick.
Yeah.
All everything's lined up and in its place. So just waiting to get the green light and the permit back. And
Oh, that's awesome.
It'll be really
exciting.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, is there anything else you wanted to share with the audience, just from your perspective, or anything else?
Stay weird.
Love it.
Buy more art and stay as weird as absolutely humanly possible. All these people down here are weirdos, and they're the nicest people in the world.
Yeah.
And
Art School Dissection supports that statement.
yeah. It's cool to be whoever you are.
Yeah, you only live once. You might as well do it weird.
Well, you might live a couple times, but we don't know about that. I don't know what you believe in. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
It's very nice to meet you.
Thanks for operating with us.
This has been Art School Dissections. My name is Peyton Hunt.
I'm Maddie Gabhart.
Take care of your guts.
Make something cool.
Or bad.
Bye.